say that so wrong.
Great mystery of life. The life that we don't understand, but was given to us by the grace of creation, salvation, and sanctification. We stand before you hoping to be the best that we can be, and that we may be inspired to be able to do the things that we need to do to save our earth and each other. We ask your blessings tonight, that those who are here, those who are not here, and those who stand in places like this throughout the world, doing the best they can, that we will be inspired by you, that we will find revelation in how we may best do the love that you have given us to do. Love is the answer. It's never been part of the question. When we walk in love, we can do amazing things, and we can do them together. It's going to take a lot of love and a lot of sharing and some smarter things than I know. It's way above my pay grade. In order to save this world, that we may work on learning how to live together. In your name, amen.
Thank you. A roll call, please.
Councilmember Klink.
Here.
Councilmember Bildering.
Here.
Councilmember Wright.
Here.
Mayor Pro Tem Ogilvy. Here. Mayor Mintz.
Here.
All present.
Okay, we had a closed session earlier today, and we have nothing to report out. Any changes in the agenda? None? Okay, announcements. These proceedings will be viewed on demand on the City of Twentynine Palms website at www.twentyninepalms.org. You may also live stream this meeting by going to the city website and clicking on the meeting agendas link. Awards, proclamations, appointments, and presentations. Presentation of the Twentynine Palms volleyball team. Yes, sir, that's you. Come get some money from the Mayor Pro Tem.
Hello. Hi.
How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Good, don't be nervous.
Okay.
So, you guys picked up trash?
Yes.
You want to tell us where?
Behind Circle K.
Okay.
What corner was that?
2 Mile.
2 Mile and.
No, we did the one off the highway, 62.
And Circle K right behind there.
Okay, how many bags?
A lot.
A lot?
Yeah.
I'll trust you with a lot, okay, okay. Well,
Two
on
truckloads.
behalf of the city, 29 Palms and the city council and everyone else, we thank you for what you're doing to make our city even more beautiful. There you are.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you. Okay, we have a presentation to Ray Wren. He's not able to be here tonight. He's retiring from the city. He's been with us for 13 years. He was worked at our parks. Been here for, like, say, 13 years. He is moving. So, well, have a good retirement, Ray, wherever you are. Okay, proclamation National Native American Heritage Month, and I'll go.
You want to skip that one? Because
Sure.
I don't know if they're here yet. I don't see them, and maybe do the Department of Public Health first.
Okay, sure. So we're going to go to the, we're going to get an update from the Public Health Director, Joshua. Hello, sir. Oh, we need
You're
volume.
muted.
Sorry, I was gonna say, year and a half, I still can't get off mute, so I apologize. So, yeah, thank you for having me, I really appreciate the time. I have a presentation, are you sharing it in the chambers? I can't see in the chambers, all the cameras are blank on my screen.
Yeah, it's up. The PowerPoint is up.
Perfect, so we'll just start the first one, and I'll just ask you let you know when to move forward. So, again, thank you so much for your time, I really appreciate you allowing me the opportunity to speak, and hopefully I can shed a little light on some of the challenges we're facing with the data in 29 Palms area. So if you were should have a couple long-running graphs with, and it says vaccination at the top. So I thought it would be good to explain how we actually get our data to populate our dashboard. Our dashboard is populated through a state system. It's required that everyone that issues vaccinations report that vaccination to the state system within 24 hours. And then our dashboard is in turn populated, the data in our dashboard is populated based on what's entered into that state system. So as you can see here on this slide, this is the current numbers for the county as a whole. If you don't mind moving to the next slide. This slide shows both San Bernardino County as a whole, but it also shows 29 Palms. And as you can see in 29 Palms, one of the things that we identified early on, and we've been working with Frank on quite a bit and trying to come up with solutions, is that 29 Palms appears to have a much lower vaccination rate than the county as a whole. And we know that isn't necessarily true. One of the challenges that we face is that areas like 29 Palms that have a military base, we have the same situation out in the Daggett area, and also areas that border other states, such as Needles in particular. Individuals may be vaccinated at these other locations. So, for example, if they're vaccinated in Arizona or they're vaccinated on a database, or on a military base, sorry, not a database, that information isn't entered into the state system. So, without that being entered into the state system, we are unable to actually populate that onto our dashboard. We have been working diligently to try to come up with solutions, but this is a challenge that's being faced across the entire state, and I would assume probably across the entire country. As you can see, we have a population estimate there, and that population estimate comes to us from a combination of from ESRI, which our entire dashboard is powered by ESRI, and the 2020 census numbers. So that's where we come up with that number, just so you're aware. If you go to the next slide, which says, what have we done about it? I listed a couple locations here, one being 29 Palms, the other one being the Fort Irwin area. Those are the two main military bases we have where we're seeing this impact. But we've done quite a bit. We've added a note to the bottom of the to the vaccine dashboard, which I'll show you in a minute. We've added a note to the 29 Palms location specifically. And then we've been in contact with the military hospitals to get information. And they've given us a case count, but without the demographic data that's entered into the state system, it's hard for us to put that into it's not possible for us to put that into our dashboard. We've been working with the CDC and the state as this is a problem that is not unique to just 29 Palms or just San Bernardino County. And we remain in contact with your city manager and other constituents throughout the area, trying to help provide clarity and take any ideas and opportunities that we have to try to improve things. And then the last thing is we continue to meet internally. We've actually come up with a couple new ideas today. We're going to pilot them and see if we can continue to find a solution for this. If you go to the next slide, please. This will show the locations tab on our vaccination dashboard. And you can see, it's a map of the whole county, in and out, and you can click on very specific cities throughout our county. If you go to the next slide, this shows the two notes that we've added. And I have to just tell you, I'm sure I don't need to tell you, but you're very fortunate to have Frank. He's very diligent and he's very understanding and very wonderful to work with. And we added this upper one that's on the upper left of the screen here that shows if we were able to actually include the doses that have been issued on base, the vaccination rate in 29 Palms will look closer to 66.1. However, in working with Frank, one thing that we can both agree on is that in order to get this note to pop up, you have to hover over and click on that little geographic area of 29 Palms, which in all honesty, we know isn't going to really happen very often. So we're working on ways to make this note more prominent. The challenge is that if you look on the right side of the screen, where it shows the 32.4%, we would like to be able to put a note there that's specific to 29 Palms. However, the way the dashboard is built, if we put a note there, it will be listed on every city. So we're trying to figure out a way to isolate the ability to post specific notes to specific cities, as some cities have different challenges than others. And then you can see at the bottom there, we included a more broad note that just kind of alludes to the fact that there are challenges in data discrepancies when it comes to some of the areas, 29 Palms being one of them. If you can go to the next slide. So that's kind of my the overarching justification that, or explanation, sorry, that 29 Palms, it is not that that rates are that low. We're just having a real challenge in figuring how to represent them a little bit higher. I wanted to go on to the next slide. I'll be available for questions at the end, by the way. So I know I may be talking fast, but I did want to encourage, regardless of what that rate is, until it's 100% for us, we want to encourage people to continue to get vaccinated. We want to encourage people to be safe in the upcoming months. We just came through Halloween, and as a county, our numbers stayed relatively stable, which was a very pleasant surprise. During this time of year, with the multiple holidays, Halloween, then Thanksgiving, Christmas, New Year's, we anticipate seeing a increase in cases. As it gets cooler, people tend to go inside, which with COVID-19 can lead to more spread. So we just want to encourage everyone to be diligent, be safe, take precautions, and take care of yourself and those that you love. And if you don't mind going to the last slide, these aren't all requirements. I think washing your hands is good, regardless of whether COVID-19 is around or not. I think we can all agree on that one. Wear face coverings where applicable and appropriate. Maintain physical distance if you can. But most importantly, if you're sick or people who are sick, stay home or encourage them to stay home, because the reality of it is that sick people get other people sick. And if we can help encourage sick people to stay home and get well, we can mitigate the spread of not only this, but many other diseases as well. So that's the end of my presentation, and I'll be happy to answer any questions that you may have.
Okay, any questions for Joshua? Anybody from up here? No?
I'll ask a question, Josh. This is Joel Klink, City Council member. I'll take my mask down so you can kind of hear me. I just recently tried to get an appointment for the booster shot, and I was rejected on the Rite Aid thing because I did not meet, the 65 and over. I'm not quite there yet. But I thought that anybody could get the booster shot anymore, right now.
So, I'm sorry. You can. So, the governor announced that actually today. The way it's written, there's limitations, but in a way there isn't. So 65 and older is one of the groups that has been opened up to the booster shot, but it's also any individual that through work, where they live, or where they work or live puts them at higher risk for catching COVID, anyone that is at high risk of developing severe COVID symptoms, or in any areas of social inequity, which is a very, very broad statement. I think that just about everywhere in our county in one way or another would meet that requirement. So on the My Turn system, there's a limit as to what you can check, but if you go back in and check one of those other boxes, it should approve you to get that. I will let you know that at all of the county sites, we ask for a self-attestation, but we're not turning anyone away if they self-attest. We're not asking for any type of proof or documentation or anything along those lines. We want to encourage anyone that's interested to please get a booster and be safe. So I apologize that there may have been an inconvenience, but I would highly encourage you to try again. I think you could get in.
Rite Aid here did say I could go inside when they're giving it out, so I'm fine with it. I just wanted everybody else to know that it is, anybody can get it if they want it.
Yeah, we encourage everyone that's interested to get it. And I would anticipate, I'm speculating here, I don't work for the state, obviously, but I would imagine with the governor's announcement today that there may be some changes coming in the near future to the way appointments are scheduled also, but I would keep an eye out for that as well.
Thank you. Anybody else? Anybody from the audience like to ask our Public Health Director any question? Okay, seeing none. Joshua, thank you. Great presentation.
All right, you're welcome. You have a wonderful evening, and thank you for the time.
Thank you.
You're welcome. So the proclamation for the Native American, we're going to wait a few minutes. We have some folks come in, so we'll go ahead and go to the council comments. So, Joel?
Thank you, Mayor. First thing, I'd like to wish everybody in the City of Twentynine Palms happy birthday celebrating in November, and happy birthday to the City of Twentynine Palms celebrating November 23rd. And also, I went to the Veterans Day ceremony revealing of the mural by Chuck Kaplinger and his wife Hoagie, and I believe the other artist's name was David. I can't remember the last name. But if you've missed it, you can't miss it. They've done such a wonderful job on it. It just pops out at you as you're driving by right over here across the street. So anyways, everybody have a happy Thanksgiving, and that's all I have, sir.
Thank you. Steven?
First, I want to say happy birthday to the Marine Corps, happy Veterans Day, belated Veterans Day. Happy birthday to my daughter, she'll be 17, and my mom, I won't say her age, later on this month. I think I've caught up to her. That's all I got, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you. Mac?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Happy birthday to the Marine Corps. Vets Day was good. I did attend the Veterans Day ceremony, and I did a JPA meeting, Joint Powers. We did it via Zoom, and usual business, and it wasn't nothing particular to stand out. And I did go to a grand opening. I don't remember the name of that restaurant.
Ground Squirrel.
Ground Squirrel. There you go. I did go to that, and that's all I got. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you. Madam Pro Tem?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I did have the pleasure of attending a Health and Human Services Zoom meeting out of Washington, D.C. on the Affordable Care Act open enrollment update. And it was really interesting. And what I can say is if you do not have health insurance, you can go to that website. And they said that there are plans as low as $10 a month. So health insurance for $10 a month, that's a really good thing. That's an awesome thing. And that's pretty much all that I did. And I do want to say happy Veterans Day. My husband is a veteran. And happy Marine Corps birthday, I'm sorry. Yes.
Okay, thank you. We had several of the VHR meetings that we had to attend to. Also went to the grand opening for the Ground Squirrel and went to the Veterans Day celebration. The mural unveiling was, I thought, as well attended, and we had some great speakers. Our own Councilman Wright made a very nice speech there at that event. Had several MBTA meetings. Our executive director, Mark, he is leaving us. He's going to he's going to Connecticut. So we had to talk about that quite a bit. This Thursday at 6 o'clock, I have an MBTA meeting at 5 o'clock, and then at 6 o'clock right here at City Hall, I'm going to do another talk with the mayor, update some of the things that's gone on from the last month, what we did last month. And if anybody has any questions, if anybody wants to come, it's at 6 o'clock. And please bring your questions. If you hear something on social media that you don't think is right, please come and we'll be able to give you the actual facts. So I think that's, we had a few people show up last time, and we were able to put out some information that was corrected from social media. Okay, so what do we want to do? Just go consent calendar? Okay, so we'll go ahead and go with the consent calendar. All matters listed on the consent calendar to be considered routine by the City Council and will be enacted by one motion in the form listed. Any item will be removed from the consent calendar and considered separately by the City Council. The public will be given an opportunity to comment on the consent calendar items prior to the City Council action. Does anybody want to pull any items from the consent calendar? Hearing none. Anybody from the audience want to pull any items from the consent calendar? Hearing none or seeing none, bring it back for a motion.
I'll move the consent calendar as written.
Okay.
I second.
Okay, a motion is second. The only discussion I have, I abstain from item number 8. It has to do with Project Phoenix. Item number 9 has to do with wastewater and Project Phoenix. And Number 10 has to do with the visitor center lease from, in Project Phoenix. So I abstained from all three of those. Okay, roll call, please.
Councilmember Wright,
Aye.
Councilmember Buildering,
Aye.
Councilmember Klink,
Aye.
Mayor Pro Tem Ogilvy,
Aye.
Mayor Mintz.
All right.
Approved 5-0.
Okay, so we're going to move right into the public hearing, PC 213565, I'm sorry, 55. Appeal of VHR application denial.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. This case is an appeal of the Community Development Director's.
Oh, wait a minute, let me interrupt you, Travis. The folks from the tribe here, I want to go ahead and do the proclamation now, because I'm sure they don't want to sit here through this one. Okay. So this is a proclamation from the City of Twentynine Palms. This is a National Native American Heritage Month of 2021. Whereas the United States of America was founded on the idea of all of us are created equal and deserve equal treatment and equal dignity and equal opportunity throughout our lives. And whereas Native American roots are deeply embedded in this land, a homeland loved, nurtured, and strengthened and fought for with honor and conviction. We honor the precious, strong, and enduring cultures and contributions of all Native Americans and commit ourselves to fulfilling a full promise of our nation together. And whereas, I have to take this down, I can't breathe. The Twentynine Palms Mission Band of Indians settled on this sacred site known as Oasis of Mar, located near the town of Twentynine Palms, California. And whereas we recognize American Indians for their respects for national resources in the earth, having served with valor in our nation's conflicts for their many distinct and important contributions to the United States. And whereas the Twentynine Palms Mission Band is a federally recognized Native American tribe located in Southern California and are descendants of the Chippewa people, a peaceful and nomadic tribe whose territory once covered parts of California, Utah, Arizona, and southern Nevada. And whereas Native American contributions and values have shaped the social, political, environmental, and economic fabric, while all enhancing freedom, prosperity, and cultural diversity. And whereas the Twentynine Palms Mission Band people contribute to the community through charitable contributions and supports the tribe's governmental operations and programs. And whereas November is a time to celebrate rich and diverse cultures, traditions, and histories, and to acknowledge the important contributions of Native people. It is also an opportune time to educate the public about tribes, to raise general awareness about the unique challenges Native people have faced with historically and in the present in the ways in which tribal citizens have worked to conquer these challenges. Now, therefore, it is be resolved that the City Council of Twentynine Palms does hereby proclaim November 2021 as a National Native American Heritage Month, dated this 16th day of November 2021. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. And you can go ahead and...
Oh, absolutely. Let me brought up my little notes. Good evening. My name's Robert Christopher. I'm the VP of Marketing and Entertainment for the Twentynine Palms Band of Mission Indians. Our tribal chairman, Darryl Mike, is unable to be with you tonight and extends his sincere appreciation for your recognizing the Twentynine Palms Band of Mission Indians during this Native American Heritage Month. I'll read a statement from our chairman that he wrote. On behalf of myself and the tribe, we are honored to receive this proclamation and recognition from the city and community of Twentynine Palms. We appreciate the kind words and sentiment coming from the City Council and know this gesture means a lot to our tribe as we consider this our home. The Twentynine Palms Band of Mission Indians have been strong partners in the community over the years and will continue to work together, building a better future for our children and residents of Twentynine Palms and the Morongo Basin communities. Thank you all again, Chairman Darryl Mike. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you. Okay, Travis, you're back up.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. This case is an appeal of the Community Development Director's decision to deny an application for a VHR located at 69721 Sullivan Road. The VHR applicant is Thomas and Selena Johnson. The application was denied for several reasons. When an owner applies for a vacation home rental permit, they agree that they have read and will abide by all the rules as part of the application process. The very first rule in the ordinance is that a permit is required to operate a VHR. The owner was operating without an approved permit on both the weekends of September 4th through September 6th and October 1st through October 3rd. In the second rental instance in October, there were multiple violations, including overcrowding that exceeded the allowable number of guests and overflowing trash bins. There's evidence of rentals on other dates as well. The owner was cited and fined $250 after the first incident, with the citation being sent to the Sullivan address, which is the mailing address listed on the VHR application. It is my understanding that the owner is out of the country on deployment and had the mail forwarded to a P.O. box. After the second instance, the owner was cited and fined again for 3 infractions, operating without a permit, overcrowding, and overflowing trash bins. The total fines were assessed at $1,500. In an attempt to get the notice to him in a more timely manner, it was mailed to the other home address listed. During the time of processing the application, it is requested from the applicant that they submit a revised business application showing both owners listed, that they provide the septic certification, and complete the safety inspection. This was done over the course of several weeks, with the safety inspection occurring on October 18, 2021, after the second instance. The safety inspection step is a very important step in processing of applications and why permits are not issued until this step is completed. The decision to deny the application is for a year per the guidance of the Development Code. The applicant cannot be here this evening but submitted an appeal letter, and I don't know if applicant has any representation. Obviously, they're out of the country. We sent them the link to the meeting. We asked if their agent could attend, and doesn't look like any of those were successful. But the applicant did provide a letter. It is in your staff report. Providing his reasoning is that he stated there was a latency in the communication, inexperience in his process, and self-inflicted ignorance of the ordinance as reasons for being in violation. But he states he made a good faith effort to be compliant. Staff has been consistent in citing owners who operate without a permit, including those that have an application pending and those that do not. Code enforcement is here to answer any questions that you may have as they visited the house the next morning. I'll be happy to answer any questions that you may have as well.
So in between all this, did he pay his fines?
No, to my knowledge, no fines.
He has not paid his fines. And this is, the first one was in September, and he still hasn't paid the fine?
To date, we have received no payment from this particular individual for the.
Did he address the fines at all?
Actually, the trash cans, while they've been emptied, they are still laying at the, there's not really a curb there, but at the street side.
Well, and then did he acknowledge that he got the letter about the fines?
Yes.
So he knew he was getting fined in September, and then he did it again in October?
He acknowledged it after the second round of ticketing.
Okay. All right. Does anybody else have a question before I open the public hearing?
He had a manager to do this, and did the manager not know that he did not have a permit?
I would believe she would have to know, given all the publicity surrounding VHR permits.
Right.
Pretty much everybody knows that it is required, and then an application alone is not a permit.
Right.
Okay.
How did he get on a VHR website without a permit number? Doesn't it have to be valid? Doesn't it have to be? Airbnb doesn't require a permit?
Pretty much any of them do not. They will make a statement, but no proof is required.
And then he started doing his safety septic tank inspection. Did he rent after that fact?
The safety inspection was after the second incident, which was when he did shut it down and remove the listing.
So the recent one with the 12 vehicles was before he started doing the safety inspection?
I believe that's correct, yes.
Okay, and you said you've gone by the property and it's still, they still haven't addressed the trash part of it? The cans are still out?
Cans are tipped over on the side of the road. In between the first and second incident, I picked them up, put them back at the front of the property. There was another incident in October, and the trash cans remain on the side of the house. They're out of the roadway. I pulled them out of the roadway, but they're
Right,
still,
but so nobody has gone by to address any of this?
no.
Okay. Okay, it's unfortunate they're not here, but, okay. Any other questions for Chris?
Mr. Mayor, just, I'll put this out there. The trash cans are knocked over, just like, I'm trying to be devil's advocate here on this guy. He doesn't have a permit. So we can't hit him on a fine for trash cans being knocked over because he's not a permitted VHR. So technically he's not violating anything but just being lazy, just like we have regular residents who don't pick up their trash cans either. So we should just focus on, he don't have a permit, and that's what we should hit him on, not the violations, because they're not violations because he's not a permitted VHR.
The violation that we cited him for was the overflowing trash cans. that were-
So just like we do any other
Just like
resident?
we would do at any other.
That's all I want to make sure. Okay, yeah.
Okay, thank you. So I'll open this up to the public. Anybody from the public like to speak? Oh, you have,
I don't know if you want to read them, but there's two that are in support of the denial, and then one that is in support of the owner.
okay. Well, because the three I got was Darcy Phillips, Teeny, and Cindy Bernard were saying to denial. Darcy Phillips, Teeny Hood, and Cindy Bernard. I didn't know about, go ahead and read the one for in support then.
This is from Michael Arthur. I'm writing in support of the STVHR owner who was denied a permit. There are small businesses and people of this area have been hurting. The STVHR permits, in my opinion, are repressive as they single out certain small businesses in favor of others. If a neighbor wants to use their property to fix a small appliance or make and sell jewelry, they are within their rights as anyone else. If you want to limit owners who do not live in the high desert by how many permits they may get or through higher permit fees, that's fair. Owners who live in this community have a vested interest in this community, and we shouldn't be hurting our neighbors' ability to make money. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay. All right, nobody from the public wants to speak?
Yeah, thank you, Rose.
In regards to the Airbnbs,
This is about this,
I want to speak with all of you when I can. I am from the public.
oh, you want to do it wait till the public comment? Not on this, not on this appeal? Okay, well, yeah, you can do that at the public comment. Yes, sir. Okay, so nobody? Yes, go ahead.
Rob Bolter, 5730 Carradine. I guess I'll stand up for the deployed. I take it he's a Marine. I'll go clean up his yard tomorrow. And if you want to, shut him down, do whatever the city's got to do what the city's got to do. I mean, I think it's only fair that somebody in the city actually talks to the guy. I mean, he's deployed. I mean, if nobody else will stand up for him, I will. I mean, I'm not saying, the city to shut him down for a year is wrong. I mean, if you got to do what you got to do, but, I guess I'd like to work with the guy. And if there's a manager, I'll take it upon myself. I'll talk to the manager. Okay?
Okay, thank you.
No, I think we're using the word deployed wrong because his wife's with him overseas in Japan, so he PCS'd to another duty station. Deployed is totally different. So I think we're using, he's not deployed, he got stationed overseas. So I think that's where you're losing that word deployed, which I understand deployed, let's go help this Marine out, but he PCS'd. So totally different. His wife's with him, so he's not deployed with his wife. So just making that clear.
Thank you, Steve, yeah, because that is very important.
Your duty station.
Okay. And obviously, this is not about just trash. This is about renting a house without a permit. I mean, I think that's more, I think the trash is just part of it, but the, more, this is about the operating without a permit. Am I correct, Travis?
That's correct.
Okay, nobody else from the public? I'm going to close the public hearing, bring it back to council. Do you have any more questions for staff or any comments?
I have no more comments. I would like to make a motion that the application denial is accepted as written.
Second.
Okay. Any other discussion? The only comment that I will make, it is unfortunate that the applicant's not here, but obviously there was plenty of time for his manager to let him know that what he was doing was wrong, and there was time in between for him to contact us besides just the letter. So I'd rather do this with the folks here, but unfortunately, we might not be able to do that. So we have a motion and a second. Okay, roll call, please.
Councilmember Bolderain?
Aye.
Councilmember Klink?
Aye.
Councilmember Wright?
Aye.
Mayor Pro Tem Ogilvy?
Aye.
Mayor Mintz?
Aye.
Approved 5-0.
Okay, thank you. Okay, number 13, we're going to go to development impact fees.
Well, thank you, Mr. Mayor, members of the council. Just as I get kind of organized here, sorry. So this item this evening is for information only. We're looking for some feedback from the council on this topic. Just by way of background, pursuant to Section 66006 of the California Government Code, local agencies are authorized to condition approval of development projects on the payment of development impact fees, or DIFs, you'll hear them affectionately called, for the purpose of defraying all or a portion of the cost of public infrastructure related to the development project. And a basic tenet of development is development pays for development. You and I, as residents, shouldn't have to subsidize local development. Development pays for development. So back on July 28th of last year, 2020, the council asked staff to review the current curb gutter and sidewalk in lieu fee. And since I've been here, and I know the council's probably heard this through the years, and the typical argument that we hear about that curb gutter and sidewalk fee is I'm in a rural area in the outskirts of town, and I'm never going to get curb gutter and sidewalk. Why do I have to pay the fee, right? We've heard that. I'm sure the council has heard that numerous times. The fee as it sits currently is $77 a linear foot. So most lots, giving their size, equate to a maximum of $11,250. So at the meeting last year, July 28, 2020, council commissioned staff to work with Wildan Financial, and we have Carlos here on the line who's going to talk us through the presentation that Wildan did. But currently, the city has two total impact fees, one of which is a fire impact fee. The city hasn't abolished that fee yet, although we're not charging the fee. Part of the action that we'll have ultimately, if the council moves through this process, would be to formally abolish the fire impact fee. The reason that the fire impact fee was on our books is when we had a local fire agency, this impact fee kind of helped pay the cost of new facilities. Now, San Bernardino County Fire has a funding source, FP5, so reason to abolish this fee. The curb gutter and sidewalk fee, the staff is, as we go through this process, if the council accepts the development impact fee, we'll look to eliminate that curb gutter and sidewalk fee, and mainly through the channels of policy of eliminating the requirement of curb gutter and sidewalk on single-family homes. Okay, there still would be that a requirement on commercial. There still would be that requirement on multifamily. And we'll probably put the caveat in there because there's going to be circumstances that probably need it for the community development director to authorize it. That excludes though, however, tract development. If a tract development comes in, we're going to require all the infrastructure along with the curb gutter and sidewalks.
But that also includes duplexes, triplex, anything that's commercialized?
They would have to put in the
Curbs and
curb gutter
gutter.
and sidewalks. The only thing that it excludes is single family. And that's just what we're proposing at this point as we go through it. Currently, if the curb gutter and sidewalk fee gets abolished right now, there is $423,000 remaining in the curb gutter and sidewalk fee that we would look to deploy based on priorities. Maybe one of the things that we talked about from a staff perspective is to close off some of the gaps that we have with sidewalks within our central core. That kind of concludes some of the background. So what we did is we reached out to Willdan Financial, again, an expert in the DIF arena, Development Impact Fee arena. Carlos, I'm going to give him the control of the screen for him to present the PowerPoint, and he will just give the background and give the mechanics associated with creating the Development Impact Fee. So, Carlos?
Yeah, hello. Thanks for that introduction there. Let me just pull up the presentation here. Can everyone hear me okay?
Yes, we can.
Okay, great. Well, thanks for the introduction. As was mentioned, my name is Carlos Villarreal. I'm a project manager at Willdan Financial Services, and I was the primary author here on the Development Impact Fee study. I'm just going to start off with a little bit of Impact Fee 101. I know you already got a little taste, but I'm just going to start at the very beginning so that we're all on the same page. And then I'm going to go into some of the details of the fee analysis here for the roadway impact fee. And then we will take a look at the draft fee schedule. It's still a draft. We have time to incorporate any input you may have for us. And then finally, I'll just go over a few sort of high-level policy options to consider as we move ahead and things you may want to consider when you implement the fee. All right, so again, little impact fee 101 so that we're all on the same page. What are impact fees? They are a one-time charge, typically imposed at the building permit stage, although some jurisdictions charge them at the certificate of occupancy. And it's imposed on all development projects within a particular area. In this case, it would be within the city limits, and they need to be used to fund facilities to fund that development. They cannot be used for your ongoing operations and maintenance costs. In California, it's the Mitigation Fee Act in Government Code 66,000 that governs the way we calculate and implement impact fees. The study that we're putting together has to make several key findings. So we need to show that new development creates the need for facilities, that new development will benefit from the use of the impact fee revenue, and that the fees are proportional to new development's share of facility costs. So everything we do in the study demonstrates these key findings. We also need to do a couple of housekeeping items. We need to document the purpose of the fee and how the city intends to use the impact fee revenue. So here's our basic methodology. First, we estimate your existing development and future growth. This constitutes demand for facilities. We can then identify facility standards, and I'll discuss facility standards a little bit more in a subsequent slide. We can then estimate the facility needs and the cost of the facilities to serve new development. We can allocate a share of those costs to accommodate growth. Oftentimes, facilities will serve more than just new development. And in the case of roads, obviously the existing development is going to be using those roads as well. So we want to make sure that new development is only paying for their fair share and nothing more. We can then identify the alternative funding needed to fully fund the project. So it's basically the difference between the total project cost and the projected impact fee revenue. And finally, we can calculate a fee schedule by allocating those costs to each new unit of development. So I mentioned facility standards a little bit earlier. We have a variety of different ways we can calculate them. Generally, though, for a traffic impact fee, we're going to use what we call the planned facilities method. Under this method, we take the cost of facilities that we can identify that are needed to serve new development or new demand and divide that by that new demand. So in this case, we're thinking about vehicle trips. We divide those costs by the vehicle trips, and that gives us a cost per trip, and that's new development share of the planned facilities. So now we're going to get into some of the specifics of what we calculated for you. The first thing, like I mentioned, the first step is to take a look at the growth projections. So we took a look at the SCAG growth projections out to 2040, and after some discussions with staff, we did right-size them a little bit. They were a little bit aggressive in the employment, but I believe the residents and the dwelling units were just about right. So as you can see there, through 2040, so in about 19 years, we're projecting almost 13,000 new residents, around 1,700 new dwelling units, and about 800 new jobs within your city limits. We can then, in this table, there's a lot going on here, but I'll try to walk you through it. We can estimate the number of trips generated by each unit of new development. So, for example, a single-family home generates, these are PM peak hour trips, generates about 1.1 trips in that afternoon commute time. An apartment generates a bit fewer than that, and you can see the estimates we have for the non-residential development per 1,000 square feet. We can take the estimates of dwelling units and non-residential building square feet, multiply them by the trips, and that gives us an estimate of trips today, and then we can do the same in the future, and the difference between the two is new development share of the trips. So the key thing the key takeaway from this table here, at the bottom of the table there, is when we calculate the trips for existing development and then new development will constitute about 16.4% of total trip generation by 2040. So let's keep that number in mind. So here we have the project list. In this project list, we worked with your public works and engineering staff to come up with the road segments and the associated sidewalks when necessary that will be needed to serve roughly that 2040 service population or trip demand in 2040. So we have the total project cost there in that third column over, but you can see we're only allocating 16.4% of these costs to new development. Again, the idea here is that both existing and new development will benefit from these roadway improvements and sidewalk improvements. And because of that, we're just going to allocate new development's proportional share in terms of trips to the impact fees. So new development will pay for their fair share, but the city will have to fund the balance with any funding source other than the impact fees. So, as we calculate the fee, we take the cost allocated to the fee. In this case, it's about $10.9 million. We divide that by the growth in your trips from that table 2 tables ago, and that gives us a cost per trip. And this cost per trip is what's going to drive the fee calculation. So we want new development for every new trip that new development generates. They will contribute $4,829 if they're paying the full fee, and that will pay for their share of all of the road improvements in the prior table. So that brings us to the draft fee schedule. Of course, this is just a draft at this point. And what we identify here is the maximum justified fee given the assumptions that I just discussed. So we take that cost per trip and we multiply it by the trip rates, that trip demand factor, and that gives us our base fee. We add 2% for fee program administration, so this pays for staff's costs to administer the fee program and cost of updates and any legal support, and sum those together, and that gives us the total fee. So what you see here is the fee per dwelling unit for residential. So a single-family home would pay $5,468, and then per 1,000 square feet for non-residential space, we divide that by 1,000 to give you the fee per square foot. So if you're building, retail or office space, it would be $8.52 there. And if you're building some sort of industrial space, it would be $5.22 per square foot. Finally, just wanted to leave you with a few policy options to consider. As I mentioned before, that prior draft fee schedule is the maximum justified fee given the analysis. But certainly as a policy decision, your city council can adopt something less than that maximum justified fee. So if you think the fee is too high, we can always adopt something less. Another option is to phase in the fee increases. Perhaps you think that fee is an acceptable fee to charge to new development, but you don't want to add it all at once. So jurisdictions typically, or not typically, but occasionally phase in the fee increases over a certain number of years. There are no guidelines from the state as to how many years you have to take to phase it in. Some places phase it in over a couple years. Other places phase it in over more. That's a policy decision that you can make. And then finally, the third point here is once the fees are adopted, we typically recommend that the city council adjust the fees annually for inflation. So that way the fees keep up with their buying power. As we all know, construction costs have escalated really quickly in the last few years. But if you adjust the fees for inflation, there will be reasonable fee increases every year, and you don't get hit with a big fee increase 10 years down the line, for example, if you don't update your fees every year. So that's the end of my presentation. I'm happy to answer any other questions, and I think staff is on hand to answer questions as well. Thank you.
Any questions for Carlos? No? I think you
And just
broke,
to illustrate it, Mr. Mayor, members of the council, so what is presented, at least from a single-family perspective, is half of currently what they typically will spend. You know, again, it's all about the frontage, but most properties have the frontage to equate to the 11,250, right? So what is presented from a single-family perspective anyway is half of what it currently is.
all right. Okay, well, that's all we have.
Thank you.
Yeah, just looking for input from the council. The other policy question too that, you know, we're looking at, again, you know, no decisions tonight, just take it in, any comments that you have, you know, and we'll bring it back in a later date, is, so we had a lot of conversation going to the July 20th date when it went to the council. And so staff started getting phone calls, people calling as they're, you know, having development projects and they're paying their $11,250. And they say, well, the council said that, you know, you were going to, you know, do this, and it's taken some time. So the question is, you know, ultimately, if you adopt it, do you want us to refund that delta that was out there once you gave that direction?
From July,
From July.
just from July. I don't have any problem with that, because obviously,
I think that's a great idea.
yeah, I don't have any problem with that. Because that does not include commercial, that's only single residential.
Well, I mean, I guess that would be a policy direction, you know, for the refund. You know, but, you know, we'd have to calculate it, because in some cases, the commercial probably is going to be higher.
Higher, yeah.
Than the original, so yeah.
I would leave them alone, then. Yeah. I think that just the single residential is deserves, since we did start this in July. That's my opinion.
This count for like a bike path?
So the money, so back to that chart that he had, okay, so all the arterials, and part of the arterials that he had associated sidewalks to them. So it has to be, that's what it has to pay for. Yeah, so not a bike path somewhere else, but a
No,
sidewalk.
I'm talking about on Mesquite Springs. I need some more houses.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, thank you, Carlos, for bringing it up. So this list right there, those are the arterials that are there. Now, to that point, and I think it's a really good point, you know, we could look at other arterials, Mesquite Springs being one of them.
Yeah, but that's a,
So
Mesquite Springs.
62 to 2 Mile Road.
2 to 2 Mile Road only.
Yeah, so you could expand this list, but here's just, so the consequence to expanding the list, the fees will go up. All right, so.
I'm good.
Okay.
Just trying to get my bike pass.
Okay, well, I'm good with the inflation going up with inflation, because obviously we don't know, sometimes it's crazy what they go, but I don't know, I don't think we need to phase it in, I think we just, it hasn't been changed in forever, so we'd be able to implement it right away. So that means, is that good staff direction there?
And we'll bring it back, you know,
Yeah.
they're not going to, you know, put anything in place today, but we'll bring it back.
Okay. Okay, well, thank you.
Public comment on it?
Oh, does anybody from the public want to comment on this? Okay.
Matt Schrag, citizen of 29 Palms. The curb and gutter fee, just, is it going away? I guess I'm trying to figure out, Going away, and when I mean that is people that are trying to build apartments and people that are trying to build multifamily, still curb and gutter fee?
Yes.
So curb and gutter fee plus, now we've got another fee. We've just went through a survey that said we're worried about affordable living, and you're not making it affordable for us to continue to provide infrastructure or to provide the housing for these developments. Like a guy like me that owns an empty lot next to a fourplex that I own, to put a fourplex in, we're just putting fees on top of fees on top of fees, including when the water rates go up, water meters go up, including Edison, they go up. So it's just, we got to take into consideration, you talk about curb and gutter fees going away, well then that $423,000 that people have paid into it at some point may ask you also to give them maybe their credits back. And that's got to be looked at too then if the curb and gutter fee goes away, but it doesn't for residential or for multi-unit and commercial. So again, it's just getting harder and harder to build for any of us out here that are trying to maybe later on do a duplex, a threeplex, and own some lots. So just want to bring that to your attention.
So, Mr. Mayor, to that point, that 423,000 that was there, with the goal that we talked about, at least internally, is closing the gaps. So again, that money is not going to be won't pay for every curb, gutter, and sidewalk throughout the city, but we were going to look in the heart of the city to kind of deploy the curb, gutter, and sidewalks to cover the gaps that are out there. So again, it won't do all of them, but it definitely will do a heart of the city to kind of close those gaps.
But I think where the heartburn is going to be a little bit is somebody's going to pay into that fee, and then you're going to go put the curb and gutter where you guys want, like in the middle of the city, and then that neighborhood never got that curb and gutter money. And that's, I mean, that's a realistic about this. You guys are going to change the curb and gutter fee to a
Matt, you need to come up to the microphone. Could you come up to the microphone, please? Well, it's changing just to an impact fee where the single families won't be paying $11,000, they'll be paying $5,000. So, but any commercial property is always paid, even when we were the county before we became a city, always paid for curb and gutter.
Yeah, so we're changing the curb and gutter fee though to just another, what kind of fee are we calling this?
Development impact fee.
Another impact fee. So another impact fee that we're all going to be impacted by if we try to build. And I agree. We got to figure out a way to get the single family residence houses in the neighborhoods because the neighborhoods aren't overpopulated right now. So we need to fill in those lots. I agree with that. I just know that we're continuing and somebody's going to say, I've paid into this curb and gutter fee over in this neighborhood, but you guys are going to go put it next to Project Phoenix to make Project Phoenix as great as it's going to be. We're still going to have the argument that people have paid into it in some of the neighborhoods that don't have curb and gutter. And I think that just has to be understood.
Well, that's the way it's been.
And again, not justifying the policy, but as the policy is currently written, and this is some, the misconception of it, and we do get complaints about it. I paid into the curb, gutter, and fee, but I'm not going to have any curb and gutter in front of my house. The policy as it written is it could be for regional projects. So we would take that money and again, fill it in the curb, and it does comply with the policy, not to say that it's right or anything, but it can be used for regional projects.
Okay. All right. Any other comments? Okay. Okay, number 14.
Thank you, Carlos.
Highway Safety Improvement Program.
Bring us back to Eli. Sorry. Okay, because I got to bring this back, don't I? Maybe it just automatically did when Carlos left. I guess so. Oops. Okay, Ken, it's all yours.
Alrighty. Good evening, Mayor, members of the council. My name is Kenneth Bailey. I work in the engineering department, and I'm here to present 2 highway safety improvement program project updates. The first one is the neighborhood safety project. I'll be going over the background, scope of work, improvement locations, funding, and the schedule. So in 2020, the city developed a local road safety plan. So this is the framework for identifying, analyzing, and prioritizing traffic safety needs throughout the city. So extensive data collection and analyses were performed in developing this plan. So information from this plan was utilized to develop the scope of work for this project. So upon analyzing the data collisions throughout the city between 2013 and 2017, it was noticed that there was a concentration in collisions at 3 specific neighborhoods. Now, this project aims to improve traffic safety. That's going to affect 134 intersections, 25 miles of roadway. And we intend to do this by removing and replacing old signage, applying chip seal at various locations, removing and replacing striping, such as stop bars, stop legends. There might be some areas that are missing pavement markings where we aim to install that. So this map shows all of the collisions between 2013 and 2017 in the city. And so here we do see those 3 areas of interest showing the concentration of collisions. Now this slide shows an example of what some of those roadways look like at those residential neighborhoods. And you can see that there's like no pavement markings or the signs are worn. So this is a list of the roadway segments that are to receive the chip seal application. So this is an example of improvements at Luray Avenue between the state route and 2 Mile Road. So this whole segment of roadway is going to be receive the chip seal application. All of the signage can get removed and replaced, and there's going to be new striping. Now included, there's going to be a 2-way left turn lane installed throughout most of the segment. This will allow for motorists to safely conduct left turns into driveways, and then also leave the driveways and turn left into the roadway while reducing the risk of getting rear-ended. So as indicated in the staff report, the city applied and was awarded approximately $1.2 million, and this is enough to cover the design and construction costs for the project. So this project is anticipated to begin June 2022 and should be complete by October 2022. So I'll skip this slide for now. I'll just wait till I get to the end of the next update. So the second project I would like to update are the safety improvements for high crash, unsignalized intersections. And I just want to emphasize that this is for unsignalized intersections. So again, I'll go over the project background, scope of work, improvement locations, funding, and the schedule. So intersection collision data was analyzed when developing the local road safety plan. And so it was noticed that there was a high frequency of collisions at specific unsignalized intersections. So this is from the local road safety plan, and it's a heat map that shows the frequency of collisions at intersections along the 2 Mile Road corridor. So the 2 locations that are pointed out, which are the intersections at Lear Avenue and at Mesquite Springs Road, shows that there is a high crash frequency compared to everywhere else, and these are at unsignalized intersections. When we look at Adobe Road, we notice that there's a number of areas. However, we're only focusing on the unsignalized areas, and the ones that stand out are at Smith Ranch Road and Sullivan Road. And at Utah Trail, the 2 areas that show collisions but remain unsignalized are at Amboy Road and at Baseline Road. As we know, the state highway is now signalized. So we're still pretty early in this project, and the city has hired a traffic engineer to analyze data, even current data. We had data from the local road safety plan that spanned from 2013 to 2017, and our public works superintendent has assisted with gathering recent collision data for our traffic engineer to analyze and to consider for potential improvements at these locations. Now, some of these improvements can be installing flashing beacons to improve advanced warning at intersections, removing and replacing signage, removing and replacing striping. Specific intersections will conduct all-way stop warrant analyses. So again, this is just a list of those intersections of interest. This is a map just showing the locations of the improvement locations throughout the city. And so again, we're still early on in this project, and so this is just the conceptual drawing. The the final product may not even look like this. So these are the intersection improvements along 2 Mile Road, along Adobe Road, and at Utah Trail. So, as indicated in the staff report, the city applied and was awarded $426,000, which should cover the design and construction costs for this project. It's anticipated this project will begin November 2022 and should be complete by February 2023.
Well, thank you, Ken. Great job. And Mr. Mayor, the reason that this came forward, primarily I think it was Councilmember Wright or maybe some of the other council members asking about, Larea Road and, the improvements that are needed there. And I thought it was a good opportunity for Ken to kind of inform the public and the council and the public on this global project for safety. So.
No, it's going to be great for the city. Anything we can do to improve the roads, and, cut down on accidents, that's for sure, and protect our citizens. Oh, anybody from the audience have any questions? No? Okay, thank you. All right, number 15, dedication plaque, future agenda item request by Bernardino Clink.
Okay, let me get this closed down here real quick. Well, thank you, Mr. Mayor, members of the council. This item is a future agenda item request to look at a dedication plaque for Sergeant Major Wilburn. It was very specific to that person. One of the areas that was in discussion on this was Project Phoenix, kind of a flagpole, and I think let me try to see the best illustration here would be right here. This building here is the visitor center, and over to the, I guess the south of the stage would be our community center. And these green poles here are flag poles. So we'll have the United States and the national park flags flying on that pole, while the state of California and the City of Twentynine Palms flag on this pole. So it was brought up as a future agenda item request for a dedication plaque at one of the flag poles. But I think from a staff perspective, greater than that, that there is some kind of matrix associated with it, some kind of program associated with it. I'm sure we as a community have many people that are deserving of these type of things, and we're just looking for some guidance on that, not only for this person, but also for others that may come forward or other alternatives that are out there. So that concludes the staff report, and I turn it back over to council.
Okay. So in other words, you're looking for direction, like we have some kind of guidelines on who could actually be put on these, or if we want to put more plaques on there?
Yeah, I think it's twofold. One, maybe the individual requests, but two, more of a global program, so how and who and, where. And it may not be answered today, right? But at least we're looking for that guidance.
I was thinking maybe of doing the brick and having people buy a brick, and if we have a big area where you can put the bricks, like in memory of blah, 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 in memory of blah, blah, blah. I think that would be very nice to do. We could still have Sergeant Major have a plaque by the flagpole, because he was a Sergeant Major in the Marine Corps, well-known in the city, but I also would like to see the ones that would like to honor their loved ones or honor themselves with a brick and have it in one area of Project Phoenix. If that would be something the council would.
And another possible location, I know I talked to Ms. Minitree before the meeting, at Lucky Park, we used to have, the Lucky Park sign there that kind of deteriorated, and we have taken it down. So we need to put something back up there, and maybe that's a good location for some kind of, memory wall, for lack of a better word for it. So.
Well, I think Lucky Park would be stepping on Dr. Lucky. But I can't remember which city it was, but I remember going to a city and they had an actual wall with names on it. And I went to the city because somebody from here, name was on the wall. Yeah.
Freedom Park.
Yeah, okay.
Yes, yeah.
That's where I went. But, I mean, maybe something like that.
Yeah, because there's multiple people that could go at the same,
Yeah.
same distinction as himself that go on the wall besides just one. Yeah, we have Colonel Cisneros, we have.
Is there a wall that we could use?
You know, we'll have to, well, one, figure out a location,
Mhm.
then, you know, we have to figure that out, but, Veterans Park, you know, we're, you know, good point, thank you, Cindy. You know, part of what the direction from the council was is improving that park, so, yeah.
Maybe.
Well, I would say then just check out Veterans Park, what we could do here and what we could do at Project Phoenix, and we can decide what we want to do. You guys right?
Yeah, yeah. I was just, because the flag, I was just talking about the flag pole.
Yeah.
In case, because we're calling Freedom Park or Freedom Way, and Sergeant Major was in World War II, Korea, and Vietnam. He was one of the rare ones, and he made Twentynine Palms his home. And he was a pillar of the community. He was a Marine. He loved Twentynine Palms. Kind of one of those guys.
Okay, anybody from the public like to comment on this? Seeing
No,
none?
The only thing I am thinking about Veterans Park, people are going to think that it's just for veterans. I think maybe we should just focus on Project Phoenix if we have a place there to do it at this time.
Yeah.
It's a lot of places we could put a wall at.
Yeah, we'll have to think about it and kind of bring that back.
Okay.
Travis can work it out.
I saw Frank looking at me, like, figure it out.
How about the back wall of the stage?
Yeah, that thing is huge.
Oh, yeah.
That's a good
On
idea.
the back. Well, I think we were working, that's one of the areas, and obviously whatever the council direction is, we're working from an art perspective, I think, with Native American
Yeah,
art.
because it's a cultural museum dedicated
Oh,
to
yeah,
Native
yeah, that's
Americans.
right next to
We're
it.
trying to incorporate
But
Native
I-
American art in the back of the
Yeah.
city.
So one of the other things, and again, we haven't got the grant yet, but Pioneer Park, maybe another place, that's coming from scratch anyway, so.
Yeah. Well, let's just give us some kind of input back. Let Travis do some walking over there and see
Yeah.
if we can find a place to put that wall.
Yeah.
And how would you want to structure the program? So, individuals would come forward and buy, families or whomever buy the brick to recognize themselves, or the city putting people?
No,
How would
I
you-
think there should be the individual, or
individual.
families buying them. I don't think we should, that's using our funds for, no, I'm not excited about that.
And it's not one to make money. I would just make sure that we just charge
Oh, no.
them for the covered
Yeah,
costs.
I don't want to make any money off.
No. Well, some of them
Well,
do.
I guess so, yeah, some places would, yeah. Okay, I think we're okay with that. All right, number 16.
And I'm sorry, so the direction is, just to make sure I'm clear, to put the dedication plaque on the flagpole, right?
For Sergeant Major.
For Sergeant Major.
Two different topics.
Yeah, yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay, Madam Mayor Pro Tem, you get to handle number 16. Just don't forget I'm out there.
All right, I will not forget you're out there. Oh,
If she
joy.
forgets, you don't gotta do the manager's update. Well,
Oh.
Okay, and number 16, we're going to pass it to our city manager.
Yes, thank you, Madam Mayor Pro Tem, Council. The item in front of you, as it's loading, it's a big file there, sorry. A lot of attachments. And while it's loading, I'll just kind of describe it. So within Project Phoenix, we were fortunate to get the EDA grant for construction of the package treatment plant. The package treatment plant has capacity for the 2 buildings that we're building, plus the private development site that we have in Project Phoenix, plus the highway frontage buildings. So that's the capacity of the package treatment plant. We have been approached by several people that want to connect to the package treatment plant. But the package treatment plant, again, doesn't have the capacity. Just pulling up the map here, and I think I got it somewhere. Yeah, here it is. So, so it's on Cholla Avenue. This lot right here is where the package treatment plant would be. So the only way to increase capacity is to increase the footprint, because you got to add more components for capacity. So to the south of the property is that, I think it's a 10-unit, is it a 10-unit apartment? 13?
About 10 units
10
to the
unit?
south, yeah.
So there's a 10-unit apartment complex there, so it's really not feasible to expand this direction. It's Cholla Avenue to the east is not, practical. We have developed this parking lot over here for Project Phoenix, not practical. The only logical spot here is this triplex for the expansion of the package treatment plant. We have been working with this property owner to purchase this property. The property owner has agreed to terms. We've had it appraised. As part of the American Jobs and Recovery Act, the 3 infrastructure projects that it calls out for that is acceptable is water projects, wastewater projects, and broadband. So the city has got $6.2 million for that. Majority of that funding is already being committed to Lucky Park Pool, but a portion of this, which is $335,000, is to purchase this land. Again, the owner has agreed to these terms. One of the things that we have done in addition to the cash payment of it, this owner, and if you look at Project Phoenix in a whole, we've always cut out this property, and this property owner has been very steadfast in his desire to have a return on this property. So we cut it out because we couldn't really meet his terms. But at this point, one of the things that we're doing is the appraised value did come in, so we are going to be paying him $335,000. Then we're going to lease it back to him for 2 years. And so his renters will get him the additional dollars that he needs, that he wanted to get. The city is going to be developing the package treatment plant. It'll be in place by the end of next year. So then we would start with the acquiring the funds and designing the expansion side of it. So the 2-year lease back is well within the time frame that it's going to take to deliver the project. So again, both parties have been happy with this negotiation, and it is acceptable, and we're looking for the council to authorize this purchase this evening.
Any questions from the council? Any questions from the audience? Back to the council. Then I'm looking for a motion.
I'll make a motion that we purchase property APN 0617-114-17 in furtherance of the project Phoenix Wastewater Treatment in the amount of $335,000 plus the customary cost of escrow
Second.
from the American Recovery Plan Act money.
Roll call.
Councilmember Bilderring?
Aye.
Councilmember Wright?
Aye.
Councilmember Klink?
Aye.
Mayor Pro Tem Ogilvy?
Aye.
Approved 401.
Okay. All right. We're on future council initiated items. Anybody want to add any items to our?
Yeah, are we talking about scooters and bikes downtown?
So there has been a development project that approached us.
Yeah, we have been approached by a company that does the electric scooters. We haven't yet, really initiated a good dialogue with that company as to where and what they're talking about, but coming
Put it
up.
on the list.
Well, probably premature at this point because we don't even know if they want to go forward with it. What is your, I guess, question or concern?
Just as long as we talking about it, I mean.
Because you want it?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. It's going through the process currently and, hopefully it materializes.
Yeah, we were looking for something that was no cost to the city, but could be put in the project, right?
Thank you.
Anybody else? Okay. Public comments. This is the time for the public to address the city council on issues within the jurisdiction of the city council that is not on this agenda. All comments are to be directed to the city council and shall not consist of any personal attacks. Members of the public are expected to maintain a professional and courteous decorum of their comments. There's a time limitation of 3 minutes per person. If you haven't already done so, please fill out a name and address slip and give to the city clerk. The city council is prohibited by state law from taking action or discussing items not included on the printed agenda. Public comments and specific agenda items will be deferred until consideration of the item on the agenda. Okay, my first one is Marion Jones.
Good evening. My name is Marion Jones, and I live on Ivanpah in Indian Cove area. My husband and I have lived in 29 Palms for 30 years. I am here tonight to ask you to stop allowing Airbnbs to continue opening in this city. While city slickers can come up here and stay in the relative comfort of a nightly rental, people like me and my family are being made homeless. My family has to be out of our rented house by December 13th. That's 23 days away. I'm sorry. We cannot find any other rental accommodation. 0 rentals in 29 Palms, 0 rentals in Joshua Tree, 0 rentals in Wonder Valley. We are 2 adults raising 4 grandchildren. We are not in a position to buy a house, especially at today's inflated prices. We are in constant contact with realtors. We have reached out to neighbors and friends through word of mouth and social media. We will be homeless on the 13th. We cannot go on a waiting list. Does anyone here know of a rental? I wanted you all to put a face, a family to the word homeless because I don't think any of us ever stop to think how easily and swiftly it happens. We have done nothing to deserve this. We have always paid our rent. This is happening everywhere up here. Your citizens need help. Thank you.
Thank you. Andy?
Hello, how's everyone doing tonight? I want to take a moment of your time. I just wanted to bring up possibly, maybe, I know it's in the bottom of the list and I haven't heard anybody speak about it in a while, possibly dispensary up here, anywhere up here for the people that needs it, the people that benefit the city, benefit everybody overall. I understand there's, some things that, the base and whatnot, but just overall, I just want to bring it back up from the bottom of the list to talk about it, to help a lot of citizens up here that's so far away for them to travel or to get there or to pay the taxes for different cities and all that. And that's all I have to say.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Anybody else in the public would like to make any public comments? So you said you wanted to come on up? If you could fill out a green slip for Cindy later, for the record, I'd appreciate it. She would appreciate it.
Hello, my name is David Maldonado. I am a resident of 29 Palms. I come to tonight for something completely off track of what we're talking about here. I purchased a mobile home in a mobile home park on Adobe Road where management hasn't got involved with managing the property the proper way with laws. Things are going on in there that I've brought to the attention of Chris, to the lady that works up in this front office. I've been given phone numbers that I've contacted the people where they're sending me out complaint forms for the tenants to fill out. The racial tension in that park, there's only 20 units, is so huge that innocent people are being arrested Thank God for the people I know in the courts. I've got them released. With everything that's going on there, I come to the city for help. I want to talk with the city manager and anybody that can direct me to speaking with these people in Sacramento, the HCD, to getting this place managed. The trash buildup, the people that have moved in there, I've spent a year and a half cleaning what has been put there for 15 years with what I bought. The other tenants that have come in to rent, friends of the management team, have brought so much trash in. If you guys came in there, you would think you were pulling into a third world country. That's how bad the trash is. The rats, the bugs, the you name it is going on in there. It's gotten so bad that now I'm here. I've come into your offices to talk to people. Everybody is helping me. I've gotten cards, but I come to you, Mayor, because all of you need to understand. What's going on in 29, the development, is to clean everything up. And to see what's going on in that park is terrible. You wouldn't, I don't even tell people I live there. My family are high up in life in the sense of being professionals. I have not had one of them come to visit me because of what's going on in that park. Violence, racial tension, people have posters up there because of what's going on with understanding from me to show them that we all need to get along. And the police have been out there a million times for fighting violence. Stacy Moore, chief editor, is a friend of mine from the paper. She put an article in the paper about the violence that's going on in that park. And there's only 20 families in there. The kids that live in there are afraid to go to the laundry room. They're afraid to go to the trash. There's 3 families that have brought in drugs, terror, you name it, it goes on. The fighting is constant. With the police coming in that I know, they can only do so much. And the city can only do so much because of the way the mobile home park is governed by the HCD. It needs to be changed. You guys need to step in and start helping the regular, normal people, senior citizens that live in there like me, that need the help to get this place established into a safe place to live.
Okay.
It's terrible. It is something that you guys wouldn't believe is even going on.
Okay, thank you. On that note, unfortunately, for the public's sake, it is one of those things, the state actually runs the mobile home parks. They govern all that stuff. We even had our state senator out here trying to get her help. The city itself, we brought her out here so she could tour a couple of our parks and say, well, can you get on your agency? From what I understand, they have 2 people in the whole state that come out to investigate. Travis, am I right about that? I mean, yeah, it's only like, she told us they only have 2 people to do the whole state. So, sir,
I know, I was told.
So we're trying, yeah, they told you right. I mean, there's basically, we have no jurisdiction on the actual mobile home park.
What about our Congressman Jay?
Well, this is a state issue, so, yeah, it's a state issue.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
No, don't be sorry. I'm just, you know what, you need to know.
Yeah.
So that when, it's like the graffiti. I was in the park when I saw that man being arrested who's graffitiing the town. I was there with the 2 dogs here. I was there. I witnessed everything. And it's awesome to see that this man got caught because he did do Lucky Park.
Mhm.
And he has done the surrounding, and I wanted to catch him. But with it all, and seeing him being arrested and then knowing the officers and people from the city here, there that know me, it was like it was a thumbs up because it's like where I'm at, we need that help too.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Okay, anybody else would like to speak? Okay, go ahead.
It's Elliot Balsey. I moved to 29 Palms at the beginning of this year when council meetings were being live streamed on Zoom. I like that because I travel a lot and it made it easier for me to attend. For the most recent meetings like today, I can't find the Zoom links on the city website. Do you know if the video stream is still happening? The stream helps ensure that all residents can participate, including those who travel and those who are concerned about social distancing in the ongoing pandemic. Thank you, Elliot Balsey.
Yes, ma'am. It is being live streamed on YouTube. So hopefully you can, if not, you can go on the site tomorrow and just watch it again. Okay, anybody else from the public? Okay. City manager update.
And I'll be brief. First of all, I'd just like to wish the council and the community a happy Thanksgiving. The city will be closed next Thursday in observance of the Thanksgiving holiday. The Project Phoenix street improvements, I think were, I know Ken is kind of gone, well, no, Ken's still here. Ken, you want to talk about street improvements today? I think that was probably the topic. While utilizing Ken today with all of his knowledge of Project Phoenix, let us know what's kind of going on the ground.
Right, yeah, so today was paving day, as was yesterday. Yesterday, the contractor was finished installing the base course of asphalt, which was like at the southeast parking areas. And then today, even as of the beginning of the council meeting, they were still out on Cholla paving. So they were trying to do as much as possible. And so along Cholla, Smoke Tree, Tamarisk, behind the businesses between Smoke Tree and Cholla, all of that got paved today. So it's going to be a big difference when everyone sees it tomorrow. So.
And Mr. Stacy's in the back. Just want to recognize him today as well and his crew. Ken ran into an issue today with the contractors not bringing their street sweeper and a couple other prepping related tasks. And Craig and his crew stepped up immediately. Prep the streets so we didn't have any delay in the paving. So
right. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off, but to add to that point, so Craig actually helped out last night trying to get some areas prepped for today's paving operations. And then even early, as of early this morning, the contractor, their office kind of figured everything was ready for paving today. Well, there was still like rubble all over the floor. We weren't in a position to, apply the new paving. You have to apply a tack, and then you can put the asphalt down. Well, I told the guys to clean it up, but they had no sweeper because they didn't think they needed it. Anyway, called Craig, sent his guys over there, went and cleaned up the whole thing. He had his other guys doing some grinding, so that way we could, finish the asphalt flush against those areas. And he was just extremely helpful. Oh, even with the traffic signage, they were missing some of the traffic signage around Tamarisk, and instead of just shutting down operation and sending everybody home, Craig showed up and his guys went out and put up the appropriate signage. That way people are aware in advance not to turn down Tamarisk. So thank you, Craig, for that. Appreciate it.
Yeah, Mr. Clark, you have some project.
Yeah, I just want to take this opportunity to tell you the city is very fortunate to have Ken Bailey working for us on this project. He is extremely hardworking, constantly solving problems. A lot of times he brings them to me, almost on a daily basis.
Right.
Dealing with all the contractors, dealing with all the businesses, everything that pops up. He is just doing an outstanding job on the project and for the city as a whole, and we're really lucky to have him. I just wanted to say that.
And Ken is groomed to be ultimately, at some point, as he's going through his certification process, our city engineer. So that's what he is groomed to be, and we're fortunate for that. So thank you, Ken.
Thank you. I appreciate it, and thank you for the kind words, Travis. Greatly appreciate it. I try to keep you appraised. That's why I just kind of just want to make sure everything's okay. But there is one person here that I would want to mention. Every time I call this person, day or night, he's always there helping me out, and that's Mr. Matt Schrag. They have been over backwards to help out the city. There's many times whether it could be as little, and it's not just Project Phoenix. It's since I started working here. This guy's making sure that contractors have their meters. He's out there adjusting valves. He's out there if we have an emergency when we're doing an underground line. Water mains broke. His crew is out there shutting things down, getting everything fixed. That way operations can keep going. Even with Project Phoenix, Matt has been on my speed dial, and he's always there. He was out of the office today, and he's sending his guys over to come figure everything out for me today. So thank you, Matt, for always being there. Appreciate you. Yeah.
Thank you, Ken.
All right, thank you.
So that's kind of the update on the ground as far as Project Phoenix. The buildings obviously are popping. You're seeing them kind of come to life, and the stage coming to life. you know, we're in November, we're mid-November, the end of month of December, the buildings will be substantially complete. So we're very close from the building side of it. Just got notice at the meeting with Tilden Coyle, Bryant and Juan when they're there. Our buildings will be energized December 3rd, which is again one of those milestone dates, you know, because we're on temporary power right now, so it'll be energized December 3rd. And ultimately, you know, again, staff, and I'm sure, you know, I know the council, very bullish on Project Phoenix because that is going to be the catalyst. And we're seeing it now from a development side. We're seeing investment coming into our downtown that ultimately will turn into higher property taxes, will turn into higher sales tax dollars, and probably even translate into TOT taxes. So we're kind of seeing that, you know, kind of come to life currently. Speaking of other development projects, wastewater treatment. So we got a meeting on the base tomorrow. I know the mayor and myself will be going to the base for the ASYMCA quarterly luncheon. Thereafter, I'll be having a meeting with the bays. The big push now with the bays is with the president's infrastructure plan, the $1.2 trillion. There's a good portion of that going to state water. State water, their priority, one of their priorities is the septic conversions, which is us. And that's a key. If we can kind of queue ourselves up to get free money that's out there, it lowers the impact to our residents. So we're going to meet with the base tomorrow to kind of work through this a little bit more. Maybe phase one to the project, which is in their best interest, is 801 housing, because they got to keep that functional, you know, for discharge. So we're going to have that discussion tomorrow. Then finally, kind of wrapping it up, Lucky Park Pool is moving forward. We had a meeting yesterday. Ultimately, it'll be in front of the council December 14th, which I think is our next meeting, for just approval of the council for them to finish the design. The goal is to get construction documents and getting it bid out and under construction by April of next year. So 8-month construction, be the end of the year, all queued up for, where we at, 21, so 22, so 23 swim season. So that's kind of where we're at with the swimming pool. And that concludes my updates.
Okay, thank you. Any questions for Frank?
I don't have any questions, but we were all thanking everybody, and I really want to give a big shout out to Park and Rec, who on their day off went and cleaned up that graffiti mess over in the dog park. Not an easy task to do, and we thank them very much for all that they did on their day off.
Yeah, it was Parks Maintenance.
Parks Maintenance.
Frank Romo's
Yeah.
crew, yeah. That's what I was going to say. You saw me write it down, didn't you? Let's thank Frank. Okay, any other questions for the city manager? Seeing none, this meeting is adjourned.